Okay, so just doing a quick video to show you kind of what Claude Code is. So once you have it installed, you can actually have it as a direct kind of function in here. So let me actually terminate this, or you can actually go into the terminal, and if you type Claude, once it's fully installed, it's directly in your command line interface and whatnot. But I actually, oops, let me terminate that process. I actually prefer to use it in here. And all this button does is just run a terminal, but directly in, as you can see right here. I am in WSL, but you could do it in normal PowerShell as well. And then obviously this is a plugin for Cursor as well that you have to install. But what's really interesting is that when you do have Claude run, you can create MD files, so basically system prompts, that it will run across all your data sets and whatnot. And it goes in here. And what's great is it's like a super advanced agent. So obviously I already have my README and I already have a kind of database or code base already set up, right, in this multi-agent compliant thing. But what I can do here is, you could do a really long explanation, or you could say, understand my code base as is. If you have questions, write them. No, we don't want to do that. And I would usually take a little bit more time. I would give it some kind of direction here or there. But realistically, this is the power of Claude Code, is that it gets up to date on the work you've already done very quickly. And so what's really fun is, so it gives you a token count and whatnot. And right now I'm on the API access rather than my account access. So generally speaking, you have a token limit every month. I have a soft limit, but because I'm using API, there's no limit, and it just chugs, right? And so what it first does is it creates actual tasks before it even starts editing lines. So it's going to read through lines, and it's going to be a lot of input tokens before it actually outputs anything. And so obviously it's looking at it, it's saying, okay, cool, that's what we're doing here. Here's the different searches, it's doing it well. And again, it's doing it directly implemented in through the actual terminal, and in this case, WSL access, which is where you really have some power. And I'm actually gonna pause the video right now and just let it run. And then I'll come back up with the video after as well. As you saw from above, it was kind of editing and going, and it actually created a to-do list. And now what it's going to do, so this is its own to-do list, and it's currently updating documents right now. It's going through it. Once it finishes at something, it actually closes it. And you're watching this as it goes along, and as it hits things, and there's certain write or audit things, it'll say, hey, do you want me to make this edit? And you can watch it in real time. And I can also literally say, hey, don't ask me again, and continue along, which is exactly what I'm going to do on this one. And so now it's just going to sit here and chug and basically go through, and it has the auto accept, and you can just shift tab to take that off. And it's just going to go through and bust all of these out. And I already reviewed it. I'm happy with the direction it's doing it, why it's doing it, how it's doing it, what it's extracting. These are certain modules and aspects that I am interested in, and aspects here. And what I can even do is have it create a new README and see its understanding or what its to-do list is, have it print out in that way. But it doesn't lose context as easily as others. I mean, we're probably maybe 8% context filled, even with, kind of whatever this file right now. I think my original file's 839 lines. Right, and it works, right? This is something that's generated outputs for me. This is a multiple agentic workflow where I'm using Pydantic in it. And Pydantic is the way to go. If you're teaching anything in CS, I think teaching Pydantic in Python is really great, being able to do classes, things like that in that aspect, because you can then actually create these agents using these classes and, using JSON aspects to it. And a lot of these models actually are able to do these classes really well quickly for what I want. And so I kind of set up different parser agents. I set up kind of agents that are handling this thought process that I was already doing on my own, or in this case, the auditors that I'm building this pipeline for were already doing. And then a couple little extra things that I did, like this framework loader agent is actually looking at a PDF, breaking it down into its specific parts, because these are different, codes that are actually focused on kind of human rights and things like that within the Mindforce. It's something I'm working on right now. And basically this kind of creates this like sections of agents, right? But what's really great is that it's understanding this. And from my experience in other pipelines, it hasn't missed a beat. It doesn't screw with any of the logic. It's able to understand huge context in different directions, follow plans as I want it to follow. And as you can see here, it's already creating an entirely new code base. All of this is what it's been creating right now, right? This is mine. I built this massive .py and I wanted to turn it into modules that initiate from each other because I knew I was going to do that later. And that's exactly what it was able to do here. And it's going through, and I guarantee you, let's see, parsed statement class. Let's see how much similar it is to my individual parse statement, field, description, category this statement belongs to, field, list of compliance. Yep. Let's make sure that it's there. Where did it put? Yeah, here we go. Compliance, see individual description category. Yep, yeah, no, that's, is it doing the list as a string though? That might be, yep, no, it's doing the list as a string. Cool, yeah, and like I said, it just copied it over perfectly into an exact area. It gave the proper initialization section here that is going for it. It's doing proper doc assignments to it so that it can be used later. This is the only area where I think there could be trouble, is that you need to verify which calls are which, because if you change this, it could create issues as well. But that's just standard processes. I think running this pipeline will teach you more about what's wrong with it than looking for what's wrong immediately. And then, of course, this is just Python, right? Being able to connect this to databases, connecting it to a website. That's probably the processes that are going to need to be taught and is much more challenging for Claude or anything like that to handle until you already create those outside inputs. For now, another year or two, maybe that'll change. But as you can see, it's still chugging away here, right? Still telling me which tokens. It can get expensive if you're running on the API update. I mean, if you're using it for an hour straight, it's probably going to be about $5 that you'd end up spending just based on tokens in and tokens out if you have a bigger code base especially. But if you have the account one, then it's just when you hit token limits, which is, I would argue, very worth it to have the pro account, especially compared to how, expensive Grok agent workflow is. It's like $300 a month versus the $20 to $100 that it costs for Claude. Depending if you're on the max or the non-max. But again, that's for if you're not making money directly from your work. I would be hesitant in telling to do it. For me, spending $1,000 a month on something like this would still probably end up coming worth it. I'm not spending that much, but anyway, that's the idea there. Well, yeah, so I'm going to let this cook and I'm going to go review it and see how well it runs. But yeah, that's the aspect here. And again, I'm telling you, it works amazingly. You get to see its process of what it was building as it's building it. And yeah, Claude Code inside of Cursor, it's the way to go, man.